Hello, welcome to Tech Tuesday. My name is Terry Platt, and I am the Graduate Writing Coordinator in the Graduate Resource Center at Clark Atlanta University. The Graduate Resource Center is a division of the Office of Graduate Studies, and it is funded by the Office of Graduate Studies and the U.S. Department of Education Title III. Today's topic is presenting research at scholarly conferences. Scholarly conferences allow you to get useful feedback on your research as you convert conference papers into journal articles. Additionally, you can gain visibility with future colleagues, employers, and future collaborators. It's an opportunity for you to network and meet other people as well as interview for jobs. Generally, when you present at academic and professional conferences, you're presenting your research using three formats. The first is a poster presentation. The second is a paper presentation, either on a panel or on a symposium. The third is a roundtable. During our discussion, we will highlight these three different formats and provide you with different tips for providing useful information to your audience and to making sure that you keep your cool while you give your presentation. So, poster presentations. Poster presentations summarize information concisely and attractively to help publicize your research and to generate discussions. Posters are usually a mixture of brief text, tables, graphs, and pictures. Generally, at a conference, a researcher will stand by their poster to display it, while participants come by and view the presentation and interact with the author. So the question becomes, what makes a good poster? First, it's readable from a substantial distance, generally 10 feet away. The title is short and it draws interest. The text is clear and to the point. There generally is an effective use of graphics, colors, and fonts. And the layout is consistent and clean. The author also provides their name, their institutional affiliation, and make sure that all acknowledgments are made, particularly to those who may have helped fund the research. So again, posters really need to be succinct. They need to highlight only key facts. Your research may produce several key findings, but all of those findings cannot be efficiently and effectively presented in a poster presentation. So the key is to identify one or two key findings that can be attractively presented in either a figure or a table and communicated to your audience. And as a presenter, you will use a few slides if you're using PowerPoint or a few graphs and illustrations to demonstrate your point. During your poster presentation, it's okay to identify the limitations of your study. It's understood that your research may not provide a broad scope, that your research may be in progress. So to say, I don't know, or I'll consider that for future research, is satisfactory. Be able to articulate in a few minutes the key findings and implications of your study. Generally, your audience or your listener will only want to stay for 3 to 5 minutes. Now, when we look at poster presentations or symposium presentations, generally there are 5 to 6 individuals who are presenting research on a panel. It helps to coordinate your presentation with others. There may be a panel chair or a panel moderator. Before the conference, you should make contact with that panel chair or moderator in order to be sure about the time and the presentation order, as well as to identify any synergy that may exist between your research presentation and the presentation of others on your panel. An important difference between a poster presentation and a paper presentation is that you have more time on a poster presentation to articulate your ideas, to explain your rationale, and as well as to communicate your findings and any other implications. When preparing your paper for a conference, an academic conference, generally you submit your paper or a copy of your paper prior to the actual conference. You submit it to your moderator or your panel chair so that they have an opportunity to review your document to provide you with substantial feedback. You may also want to make copies of your paper available to your audience or to those who may be passing through your panel. General information that's included in a conference paper is the title, an introduction to your study, a brief review of the literature, key research questions, the methods used to collect information, to collect data, and to analyze that data, key results, as well as a discussion and conclusion, and your references. You also want to include your contact information in case others want to follow up with you on your research findings or to learn more about your research and possibly even collaborate with you on future research. Before your presentation, you should be sure to know how much time you have to give your presentation. You should practice your presentation several times before the actual panel. You might want to record your presentation to play it back, make any modifications as necessary, but it's key to ensure that you are within your time frame. Additionally, you may want to make some handouts that you share with your audience about your presentation. You may not want to share the entire paper, but there may be some key figures or some key data findings that you might want to share, and you want to prepare those handouts prior to the actual presentation. During the presentation, it is quite useful and efficient to upload all the PowerPoint slides to one computer so that when the symposium starts or when the panel starts, all presenters are able to quickly access their presentations. You're encouraged to speak slowly and deliberately and to make contact with your audience. Engage your audience. For a roundtable presentation, generally the format runs 15 minutes for presentations. A roundtable generally is a common setting, a more intimate setting, where there may be 10 individuals, no more than 20, who are listening to and participating in an in-depth discussion on a particular topic. So presenters are encouraged to present their latest research or project and to come ready for a more involved discussion about their research. Before the roundtable, collaborate with other presenters. Get to the room early to set up and test your equipment, as well as make handouts available on your table or to those who may be in the room who are interested in knowing more about your research. During your presentation, provide a brief discussion about the problem or the topic you will be discussing. Get to the point so that we can know, or the audience can know, the question you seek to answer. Provide a brief summary of your theme, of the main theme for your ideas or solution. Speak clearly. Be succinct. Do not read aloud from your slides. And try to use a font that's easy to read. One of the purposes of a roundtable is to have a group discussion. So be sure to leave time for the group discussion. And at the end, provide a summary of all that you have shared and have questions prepared to try to stimulate discussion and to encourage the discussion further. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate you listening to our Tech Tuesday talk on presenting research at scholarly conferences.